controversial Gupta family is holding the wedding of the century in Sun City this week and have caused outrage with the use of a military airbase for their guests. This is a national key point and has caused a lot of concern about security in the country. In today's Mail and Guardian, our reporters reveal the inside track of the politics behind the wedding, including how the Guptas have angered their most famous friend, Jacob Zuma. Let's kick off with a quick summary. Sarah, give us a sum up of what has happened so far in the story for those who haven't been reading all the stories in today's paper.
We kind of woke up on Tuesday to the news that there was this private jet bringing all the guests to Vega Gupta's wedding, and that there had been a lot of diplomatic backdoor deals that allowed them to land essentially at a military Air Force base. And I think that was more controversial because it was a Gupta, and so it raised a lot of questions about the kind of influence that they have and have had, and essentially how they managed to gain access to what should be a national key point and a private military base. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Mantashe. My lady, he's come out very strongly on this issue, and he seems protected by the fact that Zuma didn't know about this, and he was in the dark about the Gupta's latest scandal.
I think ASCSG Mantashe had that confidence to say what he said, to release the kind of statement he released, as strong as it was, because he had already had a conversation with Zuma on the morning when the Guptas landed at Waterkloof. So he already knew that Zuma is not to blame. But I also think it's about time that someone like Mantashe shows leadership. It gave South Africans some confidence in him.
Gwedi coming out the way that he did, it again reflective of an intense uncomfortability within the ANC, and I think it has been there for a long time. And I think, you look at the tone of the statement, even the statement that came from Blade Nzimande, I mean, these are not measured tones at all. These guys are like angry about what happened.
Let's move on to some reader questions now. Alan Monsieur Wilson says, "We are naive if we believe that the truth will come out. There will be four guys who will take the blame. President Zuma has to take full responsibility for the situation." What are your thoughts on that, Manaledi?
Yes, the president will take responsibility, I agree, partly because he is the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. So Waterkloof Air Force Base belongs to the military. That's still his responsibility as much as it is the Minister of Defense's responsibility. If he says, "I did not know," yes, they are my friends, but I did not know. And if the Minister of Defense, Nosiviwe, says, "I also did not know," who's going to be the fall guy? And sometimes getting the juniors to take responsibility and being fired might not be good enough. It's time that
Absolutely.
Zuma looks into his friendship with the Guptas and everyone else who is his friend and tends to take advantage of that friendship.
For a mere sort of firing situation or an investigation where somebody will then be sanctioned, I think we risk missing a vital opportunity to have a broader discussion about our politicians, about how we fund political parties in this country, and about the business relationships that our politicians keep.
Adil Smith has asked, which SA politicians were invited to the wedding? Now, we know that the Guptas are in with a lot of politicians, Manaledi, from the DA to the ANC. Do you know of any famous guests we should know about at the wedding? Or are they all withdrawing now that Zuma has shown his disapproval?
We don't know the list of high-profile people, ministers and others who've been invited, but we do know that some ministers like Malusi Kigaba of Public Enterprises, Mining Minister Susan Shabangu, Zuma's nephew Kulubuse Zuma, his son Tutuzani was there. I've heard that Rob Davis, the minister, also attended the wedding. But I think many ministers might have gotten cold feet.
And I just think it'll be interesting to see what this really means for the Guptas. I think that a lot of guys within the ANC are going to start to put their foot down.
I'd like to see a situation where our government goes to the Indian government and makes it clear that we are all not impressed.